In the heart of a dense forest, where the shadows danced with the whispers of ancient trees, stood an isolated laboratory. Inside, amidst flickering lights and the hum of machinery, a lone scientist toiled away in pursuit of knowledge that bordered on the fringes of madness. Drive. Alexander Grayson was a brilliant yet reclusive figure, driven by an insatiable curiosity to push the boundaries of science beyond what society deemed acceptable. His latest experiment, hidden from the world, was his most audacious yet. With fervent determination, he sought to create a being that would embody the very essence of strength and resilience, a creature that could survive in the harshest of environments, a pinnacle of evolution. For years, Dr. Grayson delved into forbidden realms of genetic manipulation and arcane sciences, heedless of the warnings that echoed in the depths of his conscience. His laboratory became a sanctuary of twisted machinery and bubbling vats, where the line between creator and creation blurred into obscurity. Finally, after countless failed attempts, Dr. Grayson achieved his breakthrough. In the heart of a thunderstorm that raged outside his laboratory, he brought life to his creation, a creature born of flesh and metal, infused with the primal essence of the wilderness. But as the storm clouds parted and the moon cast its eerie glow upon the world, Dr. Grayson realized the true extent of his folly. His creation, though powerful and majestic, bore the mark of a curse that twisted its form into something monstrous under the light of the full moon. It was a werewolf, a creature of myth and legend, unleashed upon the world by the hubris of man. Terrified by the implications of his creation, Dr. Grayson attempted to contain the creature within the confines of his laboratory. Yet, with each passing night, the beast grew stronger, its primal instincts overwhelming the feeble shackles of reason. As the moon waxed and waned, the forest surrounding the laboratory echoed with the howls of the werewolf, a haunting reminder of Dr. Grayson's descent into madness. Desperate to undo the horrors he had unleashed, Dr. Grayson embarked on a perilous journey into the depths of the forest, guided by the flickering light of his lantern and the whispers of remorse that echoed in his soul. But as he delved deeper into the heart of darkness, he encountered forces beyond his comprehension, ancient spirits that stirred in the shadows, guardians of secrets long forgotten by mankind. With each step, Dr. Grayson felt the weight of his sins pressing down upon him, a burden too heavy for mortal shoulders to bear. Yet, driven by the flicker of hope that still burned within his heart, he pressed on, determined to confront the source of his creation's curse and set things right. But little did he know that the true nature of his creation lay not in the twisted strands of its DNA or the flickering light of his laboratory, but in the depths of his own soul, a darkness that had long lain dormant, waiting for the moment to awaken and consume him whole. As the moon reached its zenith and cast its baleful light upon the forest, Dr. Grayson stood face to face with the creature he had unleashed, a reflection of his own inner turmoil, a manifestation of his deepest fears. And in that fleeting moment of clarity, as the lines between creator and creation blurred into nothingness, Dr. Grayson realized the true lesson that his creation had come to teach him, a lesson written in blood and whispered in the howling winds of the night. But whether he would heed that lesson or succumb to the darkness that threatened to consume him remained to be seen, for the forest held many secrets, and not all of them were meant to be revealed. As the moon cast its eerie glow upon the forest floor, Dr. Grayson stood frozen, locked in a silent battle of wills with the creature before him. In its feral eyes, he saw the reflection of his own inner turmoil, a darkness that threatened to consume him whole. But just as he prepared to confront the beast, a sudden rustling in the underbrush broke the tense silence. Drive. Grayson's heart quickened as he turned to face the source of the disturbance, his hand instinctively reaching for the revolver at his side. Out of the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness, its features obscured by the veil of night. Drive. Grayson tensed, unsure whether friend or foe stood before him in the darkness of the forest. Who goes there? He demanded, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and defiance. The figure stepped forward, the moonlight revealing a face shrouded in mystery, a face that seemed to shimmer and shift with each passing moment, as if caught between worlds. I mean you no harm, Doctor. Grayson, came the reply, a voice as soft as the whisper of the wind through the trees. I have been watching you, waiting for the moment when you would finally realize the true nature of your creation. Drive. Grayson's brow furrowed in confusion. Who are you? What do you know of my creation? The figure inclined its head, a faint smile playing at the corners of its lips. I am but a humble guardian of these woods, tasked with preserving the balance between the worlds of man and beast. Your creation has upset that balance, unleashing forces that threaten to consume us all. Drive. Grayson's grip tightened on his revolver, his mind racing with 1,000 questions. What do you want from me? How can I undo what I have done? The figure raised a hand, its fingers elongating into talons that gleamed in the moonlight. There is no easy answer to that question, Dr. Grayson. The path you have chosen is fraught with peril, and the consequences of your actions cannot be undone so easily. A chill ran down Dr. Grayson's spine as he gazed into the figure's eyes, twin pools of darkness that seemed to pierce the very depths of his soul. Then what must I do? Tell me, and I will do whatever it takes to set things right. The figure's smile widened, revealing rows of gleaming teeth that seemed to sparkle in the moonlight. You must confront the darkness within yourself, Dr. Grayson, the darkness that gave rise to your creation. Only then will you find the answers you seek. With those cryptic words, the figure melted back into the shadows, leaving Dr. Grayson alone in the darkness of the forest. He stood there for a moment, grappling with the weight of his newfound knowledge, before steeling himself for the journey ahead. For he knew that the true battle lay not in the twisted depths of the forest, but within the recesses of his own soul, a battle that would test his resolve and push him to the very brink of madness. And as the moon cast its baleful light upon the world, Dr. Grayson embarked on a journey into the heart of darkness, guided by the flickering light of hope that still burned within his heart. But whether he would emerge from that darkness unscathed or succumb to the shadows that threatened to consume him remained to be seen, for the forest held many secrets, and not all of them were meant to be revealed. As Dr. Grayson delved deeper into the heart of the forest, each step seemed to echo with the weight of his doubts and fears. The twisted branches of ancient trees reached out like skeletal fingers, their gnarled forms casting eerie shadows that danced in the moonlight. But despite the oppressive darkness that surrounded him, Dr. Grayson pressed on, his resolve unyielding in the face of the unknown. He knew that the answers he sought lay hidden within the depths of the forest, and he would stop at nothing to uncover the truth. As he ventured further into the wilderness, Dr. Grayson's mind was plagued by visions of his creation, a monstrous amalgamation of flesh and metal, unleashed upon the world by his own folly. He could still hear the echoes of its howls reverberating through the trees, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked within him. But amidst the turmoil of his thoughts, a faint glimmer of hope flickered in the darkness, a distant beacon that called out to him with promises of redemption. Drive. Grayson knew that he must follow that light, no matter the cost, if he was to have any hope of setting things right. As he pressed on through the tangled undergrowth, Dr. Grayson began to sense a shift in the atmosphere, a subtle change in the air that sent shivers down his spine. The forest seemed to come alive around him, its ancient guardians stirring from their slumber to watch his progress with silent vigilance. And then, just as he began to doubt whether he was on the right path, Dr. Grayson stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. At its center stood a solitary figure, a woman cloaked in shadow, her features obscured by the veil of night. Drive. Grayson's breath caught in his throat as he approached the mysterious figure, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Who are you? He asked, his voice barely more than a whisper. The woman turned to face him, her eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light that seemed to pierce the darkness. I am the guardian of this forest, she replied, her voice like the rustle of leaves in the wind. And I have been expecting you, Dr. Grayson. Drive. Grayson's brow furrowed in confusion. How did you know my name? The woman smiled, a knowing glint in her eyes. I know many things, Dr. Grayson, things that lie hidden beneath the surface of your reality. But you did not come here seeking answers to questions you already know. You came seeking the truth. Drive. Grayson nodded, his gaze never leaving the woman's face. Yes, I seek the truth about my creation, the creature that haunts these woods with its monstrous form. Tell me, what must I do to set things right? The woman's smile faded, replaced by a look of solemn determination. The path you seek is a perilous one, Dr. Grayson, one that will test your resolve and push you to the very limits of your humanity. But if you are willing to confront the darkness within yourself, you may yet find the redemption you seek. With those cryptic words, the woman vanished into the shadows, leaving Dr. Grayson alone in the clearing. He stood there for a moment, grappling with the weight of her words, before steeling himself for the journey ahead. For he knew that the true battle lay not in the twisted depths of the forest, but within the recesses of his own solo battle that would test his resolve and push him to the very brink of madness. And as the moon cast its baleful light upon the world, Dr. Grayson embarked on a journey into the heart of darkness, guided by the flickering light of hope that still burned within his heart. But whether he would emerge from that darkness unscathed or succumb to the shadows that threatened to consume him remained to be seen, for the forest held many secrets, and not all of them were meant to be revealed. As Dr. Grayson ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, he felt the weight of his own doubts and fears pressing down upon him like a suffocating blanket. The path ahead was shrouded in darkness, and with each step, he could sense the presence of unseen forces lurking in the shadows. But despite the overwhelming sense of dread that threatened to consume him, Dr. Grayson pressed on, driven by a fierce determination to uncover the truth behind his creation and set things right. He knew that he could not turn back now, not when so much was at stake. As he journeyed deeper into the wilderness, the air grew thick with the scent of ancient magic and intoxicating blend of earth and moss that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Grayson could feel the power of the forest coursing through his veins, awakening something primal and long dormant within him. And then, just as he began to lose hope of ever finding the answers he sought, Dr. Grayson stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. At its center stood a towering monolith, a relic of a forgotten age, its surface etched with strange symbols and runes. Grayson approached the monolith with cautious reverence, his heart pounding with anticipation. He could sense that he was on the brink of a discovery that would change everything, and he dared not turn away now. As he reached out to touch the ancient stone, a sudden surge of power coursed through his fingertips, sending shockwaves of energy rippling through his body. Grayson gasped as visions of the past flooded his mind, a kaleidoscope of memories and emotions that threatened to overwhelm his senses. He saw himself standing in his laboratory, surrounded by the flickering light of his experiments. He saw the moment of his creation, the birth of the werewolf, born of his own hubris and folly. And he saw the darkness that lurked within him, a shadow that had followed him since the beginning of time. But amidst the chaos of his thoughts, Dr. Grayson also saw glimpses of hope, a flicker of light that pierced the darkness and illuminated a path forward. He knew now what he must do to set things right, and he would stop at nothing to achieve his goal. With newfound resolve, Dr. Grayson turned away from the monolith and set off into the depths of the forest once more. He knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but he was determined to confront the darkness within himself and emerge victorious. For he knew that the fate of the world hung in the balance, and he would not rest until he had restored the balance between man and beast, and banished the shadows that threatened to consume them all. And as he disappeared into the darkness of the forest, the moon cast its baleful light upon the world, illuminating a path forward fraught with danger and uncertainty. But whether Dr. Grayson would emerge from the depths of his own darkness unscathed, only time would tell, for the forest held many secrets, and not all of them were meant to be revealed. As Dr. Grayson delved deeper into the heart of the forest, his resolve was tested at every turn. The darkness seemed to close in around him, whispering cruel taunts and tempting him with promises of power beyond imagining. But despite the overwhelming odds stacked against him, Dr. Grayson pressed on, fueled by a desperate determination to undo the horrors he had unleashed upon the world. He knew that he was running out of time, that with each passing moment, the darkness within him grew stronger, threatening to consume him whole. And then, just as he reached the edge of despair, Dr. Grayson stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. At its center stood a towering tree, a sentinel of the forest, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers towards the sky. Grayson approached the tree with cautious reverence, his heart pounding with anticipation. He could sense that he was on the brink of a discovery that would change everything, and he dared not turn away now. As he reached out to touch the gnarled bark of the tree, a sudden wave of dizziness washed over him, sending him crashing to the ground below. He gasped for breath as visions of the past flooded his mind, a torrent of memories and emotions that threatened to overwhelm his senses. He saw himself standing in his laboratory, surrounded by the flickering light of his experiments. He saw the moment of his creation, the birth of the werewolf, born of his own hubris and folly. and he saw the darkness that lurked within him, a shadow that had followed him since the beginning of time. But amidst the chaos of his thoughts, Dr. Grayson also saw glimpses of hope, a flicker of light that pierced the darkness and illuminated a path forward. He knew now what he must do to set things right, and he would stop at nothing to achieve his goal. With newfound resolve, Dr. Grayson rose to his feet and turned away from the tree. He knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but he was determined to confront the darkness within himself and emerge victorious. But as he disappeared into the depths of the forest, a sense of unease lingered in the air. For in his quest for redemption, Dr. Grayson had unwittingly unleashed forces beyond his control, forces that would stop at nothing to ensure that the darkness prevailed. And as the moon cast its baleful light upon the world, the forest echoed with the sound of howling winds and mournful cries, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lurked within the depths of the human soul. For Dr. Grayson had embarked on a journey from which there could be no return, a journey that would ultimately lead to his own demise. And in the end, the forest reclaimed him, swallowing him whole and leaving nothing behind but a legacy of darkness and despair. For the true horror of Dr. Grayson's creation was not the werewolf that haunted the woods, but the darkness that lurked within the depths of his own soul, a darkness that could never be vanquished, no matter how hard he tried. And so, the forest stood silent and watchful, its secrets hidden beneath a shroud of darkness that would never be lifted. For in the end, there are some things that are better left unseen, some truths that are better left untold. And Dr. Grayson's story was one of them, a tale of hubris and folly, of darkness and despair, that would echo through the ages as a warning to all who dared to tamper with the forces beyond their control. For in the end, the true horror was not the monsters that lurked in the shadows, but the darkness that dwelled within the hearts of men. And that, perhaps, was the greatest horror of all.